hello, hello. That was good.
Hello.
Greetings, I'm Rob Chapman.
And I'm the captain.
Captain Lee, who happens to own a store called Andertons in Guildford.
Which is why we shoot these lovely videos, so that hopefully next time you need to buy a guitar or any other kind of musical equipment,
you'll come and see
me. I was going to do that and go
AC/DC.
I realise I've got the wrong t-shirt on.
You don't own them, mate.
I don't own them.
No. Imagine if you did though, that would be amazing.
I certainly wouldn't need a guitar store, would I?
No, you wouldn't do. So, we're here to demonstrate for you the difference, if there is much of a difference, between the Gibson Les Paul Standard.
The Standard, the Studio, the Gibson Les Paul Studio, and
the Epiphone version of a Standard.
And it's kind of apt that we do this, not just because it's probably the most requested video that we've ever had, which is do the comparison, but 2012 has seen feature changes on all three guitars. So the Les Paul Standard is now called a Les Paul Standard Plus Pro. That's the Epiphone one. The Studio, the 2012 Studio, now has the cool kind of coil tappy features on it, and this is the 2012 Les Paul Standard. So we're going to show you how they sound different. Going to try and show you, kind of try and tell you rather how they feel different, and we get some nice close-ups so that you can see kind of some of the manufacturing differences between.
So you can make up your own mind whether you think it's worth more money spending on a Les Paul Standard, or whether you're happy and safe with the Epiphone equivalent, or whether the Studio is kind of a great halfway house.
Yep.
You know, workhorse machine.
Coolio.
So we're starting with the Les Paul from Gibson, the Standard, and I guess we'll just go through some of the basic tones. You're all familiar with this. By the way, we haven't got one amp. We've got two amps. We've got the classic immortal setup of Blackstar HT60. And we've got a Fender Hot Rod Deluxe.
Hot Rod Deluxe.
Hot Rod Deluxe. Now, we kind of did this a little bit before with the Slash video.
Yes.
Which is quite popular. If you like Slash and you like guitars and you like us, go and check out Gibson versus Epiphone Slash. And we're using the Slash Gibson guitars and
an old spec Epiphone Les Paul Standard. And that's about 2 years old, that video.
It's old.
It's one of the first ones we ever did together.
I think it's got like 400,000 views now.
Really?
Thank you very much, guys, for...
Slash has watched that 399,000 times himself.
I sound so much better than these guys. But yeah, thank you. And if you like that video, maybe you'll like this one, comment and like and share and favourite.
Now, there is an in-depth video on this guitar on Rob's channel from about 6 weeks ago, and an in-depth video on the Studio as well. So we're probably not going to go like as super in-depth. Maybe we will, who knows. We'll see where the journey takes us. This is a £2,000 top-of-the-range flagship Les Paul Standard. This will mean it is made using very high-quality timbers. So it's specifically sort of sourced mahogany. Gibson will spend a lot of time and energy trying to find the right timber to give the right tone. They cut it in a certain way. It's what's called quarter sawn. It's cut in a certain way to give it, make the grain look nice and make the neck strong. As Rob said, it's weight relieved. Weight relieved.
Coming up next, we've got
Willie's Wadwick. He's a wobber and a wapist. So it's kind of got holes cut out of the body to make it lighter and more resonant. It's got the coil tapping electrics on here. Beautiful rosewood fingerboard. Mother of pearl sort of trapezoid inlays. It's a beautiful guitar. Locking machine heads. There's really no expense spared on a Les Paul Standard. Some of the things that you know, people often say to me, how come the Epiphone is so much cheaper? Let me give you a couple of interesting facts on the finishing. That, as I said, this is purely aesthetic, but add a ton of money onto the price. The binding on a Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul, is actually a soft piece of plastic. So not only they will cut a groove in the outside of the guitar, heat the plastic up to a temperature where it's sort of pliable, or what's the word? Malleable. And then someone will by hand kind of lay this inlay in and then finish over it. And they do that around the body. It looks beautiful. It's quite time consuming. On an Epiphone behind me, the binding is just a painted on white stripe.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. So it kind of, it doesn't look dissimilar unless you look very closely, but of course it's massively faster just to paint a white stripe around it.
It's paint, not plastic.
Another thing on the differences is that on a Les Paul Standard, this is still using the original nitrocellulose style lacquering process.
Which is why it smells of marshmallows.
And nitrocellulose lacquering is essentially applied one coat at a time, and it's applied, let dry, reapplied, let dry,
How many
reapplied.
coats? Like 10 coats?
Yeah, it's a lot of coats. And what it does is it gives the Les Paul, some people say it has a tonal thing, it kind of compresses the wood a bit. I think that's pretty subtle, but what it certainly gives is this very deep hue to the sunburst. You see any nice Les Paul, and the sunburst is kind of like a 3D quality, and it reflects the light beautifully. On a Epiphone, it uses the same finishing technique as someone like most guitars nowadays, you know, Fenders, people like that. It's called a polyurethane technique, and that's where they'll put like a ton of guitars on a rack, they prime them, spray them up the color they want them to be, gloss them, buff them, bang. You can get tons of guitars, and you could probably do, I don't know, 100 guitars in the same time as it takes you to do one nitrocellulose finished guitar.
Captain, play me some juicy blues.
I play some blues. I should say about these guitars that the Les Paul Standards are available in anything that from your real classic black. So if you just like a black guitar with the cream kind of binding and cream pickup surrounds, chrome hardware, you can get one of those. Or the 2012 Les Paul Standards are available in more sunburst finishes than I can ever remember this guitar being available in. So anything from the classic kind of heritage cherry like I'm holding now, through to sort of amber finishes or much darker finishes. So go check out the Andertons website. We have a dedicated page for the 2012 Les Paul Standard with all high-res images of all the different colours, but it's so pretty, this guitar. I've always been a sucker for Les Pauls. Anyway, let's...
Before Lee plays, you might hear a little bit more pain in his blues because he's had a knee operation. And this is the first video after his knee operation that we've done. So see if you can feel a little bit more pain.
A little bit more pain. So, I mean, these are great guitars. You can do...
It's like Phil X was saying to us, the majority of the time, if you hear a super great guitar sound, it'll be one of those through a Marshall.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy, wasn't it? And I do like, you know, so let's show you the little coil tappy kind of things, or coil splits, whatever they're called. So
those are coil.
You can hear the difference between the regular humbucker and the split sound. And if you remember rightly on the Les Paul Standard, and this is a feature you don't get on the Studio, the two tone controls also flip out and allow you to change phasing and things like that. So we go into that in more detail on that 2012 video that we mentioned earlier on, so you can go and check that out. So we're going to do the sustain test.
Okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to hold one of my favourite notes on a guitar that you all know about.
Time it.
And while I'm holding it, Captain's going to count it.
In fact, I'm going to time it on my stopwatch so that we can get.
I thought you were going to go 1 Captain Leaf from Andertons, 2 Captain Leaf from Andertons, 3 Captain Leaf from Andertons.
No, I think we should do it on the stopwatch because then it's official.
Okay.
Olympic standard.
Yes.
Gold medal.
To be specific, I'm going to hold the note until we decide it's died. 3, 2, 1. Dead!
7.4 seconds.
7.4 seconds.
We need to do all 3 guitars back to back.
That is a sustaining maniac of a guitar, isn't it?
It is. It's Sustainer-maniac. That's a new Peter
Sustainiac.
Andre. Is that a new Peter Andre song? Sustainer-maniac!
Is that the one where he dances like this? 3, 2, 1. Dead.
It's coming in around about 5 seconds.
So you're buying at least 2 seconds more sustain with the Les Paul Standard.
Let's try an Epiphone Les Paul.
This is going to be awesome. I'm already excited.
It's going to go.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Dead! What the fuck?
Epiphone destroys all 29 seconds.
Yeah! That was weird. We must have found some kind
must have found some magic harmonic. Maybe it was the position of the sun and the moon and the planets. And
I don't know, but that was weird.
See if you can repeat that then.
I'll see if I can repeat that. That was pretty amazing. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. It's kind of dead now.
Yeah.
Still.
Is it just that note?
It might just be that note, yeah. I have to say, this is remarkably resonant in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. I mean, again, it's...
We found a sweet spot. That's what
I think we
did.
found a sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, I think we proved that the Les Paul Standard had more sustain than a studio, which I was surprised about. I would have thought that the lack of bits on the studio would let it breathe more, let it ring resonant, but apparently not. But we did test 1 note.
Yes.
So
you'd probably have to do a slightly more scientific test than that, wouldn't you?
Probably we need Mythbusters to come out and do every single note on 3 guitars. And if they do want to do that, we'd love to come over and help you. Yes.
In America, all
and if anyone else has all 3 guitars
hotels,
and wants to make a video where they play every single note as a sustain test and reply to this video, I'll buy you a beer when I see you. It's getting kind of heavy. Melody, I possess that thing on best when my voice goes to the rest of the microphone.
What the
You are a lyrical...
lyrical bandit. Les Paul Studio, bare bones workhorse machine of goodness.
Yep.
Slightly more affordable than Les Paul Standard by about £1,000.
Yeah, it's pretty much bang on halfway between what an Epiphone would cost you and what the Les Paul Standard would cost you. So the stuff you're going to have to sacrifice if you want a studio, if you go for a studio, mainly aesthetics. There's no binding, a much simpler selection of colours. There are sunburst colours within the studio, but you don't get these stunning AAA flame tops like you get on the standards. It's a It's not a rosewood fretboard anymore. It's a kind of a substitute timber. Looks like rosewood, feels like rosewood, sounds like rosewood, but isn't rosewood.
Let's call it Herwood.
Let's call it
Osewood.
Regular vintage style tuners, so you don't have the locking machine. It's no, is it cased? I think it's cased rather than bagged, but you might double check.
Is it a Korean nut?
Probably. But the hardware is much the same, so the bridge is the same. You still get the coil taps, but you don't get the phasing kind of issues. But anyway, let's hear it.
Let's just hear it, shall we? And we're going to have gain first. I've decided.
We want ganache
I
first.
want gain first. Sounds great, doesn't it?
Nothing wrong with that sound.
Yep, nothing wrong with
We've
it.
got no pedals, no nothing. All you need for that classic rock tone, good Les Paul, amp with a good drive channel.
Good pickups too.
Yeah.
Absolutely sings.
The bottom line is Les Paul's sustain. That's the deal, isn't it?
Well, thickness, I think. Thickness and sustain. And there's like a real tangible feeling to the guitar when it comes out of an amplifier. It's really present and really full. And, I mean, the other kinds of guitar, the F-type of guitar, they also have a very different kind of presence. But a Les Paul has something really guttural and physical about it.
It's a different kind of... I mean, I'm a big Strat fan. But when you're playing a Strat, if you want to... If you want to get that sustain, it is about if you think players like Stevie Ray Vaughan, you know, it is about having really thick strings, plenty of clearance on the fretboard, really digging in and trying to get that natural harmonic sustain that you get when the amp starts to kind of feed back on what you're playing. With a Les Paul, it's so much easier than that. You know, you can put regular gauge strings on there, use it with a regular amp, and it will just sustain more naturally.
You can get away with thicker strings too because you've got shorter scale length, so you can get more of that metal in there if you really want to, you know. Good.
Let's hear it clean.
Clean up the boy.
I actually zoned out during that little... I forgot we were shooting videos, everything. I was just literally happy. I was on a little desert island somewhere, just kind of going...
Hit me with some blues, buddy. Drive!
See, what I'm going to do here as well is I'm going to just play with the volume control to sort of go from a clean to a crunchy... it's just got, you know, I know maybe this colour's not necessarily the most traditional kind of colours.
I kind of like this. It's kind of like Jane's Addiction.
Yeah, it's going to appeal to maybe a more contemporary kind of guy. But if you just want, you can get this in black. It looks amazing, or some of the sort of bursty or wine red kind of colours. Looks very traditional. But it's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
It's made in the same factory that the Les Paul Standard's made in. Same guys. So it's really, you know, it's a choice thing, I think, rather than you can choose to have all the bells and whistles and something that looks like the guitar that, you know, Jimmy Page and Slash and Peter Green and all those kind of guys are synonymous with, or you can just go, do you know what, I'm cool just being me, and I'm just gonna have a black guitar or a silver guitar, or I think it comes in blue and different colors like that, and you know, you still get the same kind of tones, same kind of quality. You just save a few pounds. So
something I do. I think we should also do how loud is a unplugged standard. You know,
we could do if
Epiphone.
I could find my decibel meter.
Well, no. I think the camera and the people can tell us how
Okay.
loud, which is. So let's unplug it, and I'll just hit a chord.
I'll just turn the volumes all down.
Do it. Quieter.
A little quieter. And actually, do you know what as well?
Duller.
Yeah, not so
Right.
acoustic. Brighter, isn't it? that
Yeah,
one?
this is brighter.
I wonder if that's the fretboard, maybe the Grandillo fretboard.
Don't know.
I can feel this though. Do you know what I love
I
about
can feel this too.
Yeah, I can
It's
feel
still
this
going.
kind of vibration.
This hasn't stopped going. Still going now. I can still feel it now. I can still feel it. I can still feel it, and now it's died. What we noticed is, for some reason, this one.
Yeah, I can feel the same here.
Yeah.
We could probably go make a cup of tea or something like that. Come back, I'd still be feeling it.
This one seems.
Don't point at it.
Don't point at it.
Don't even look at it.
Yeah, don't look at it because it's still going. We'll leave it here going on my lap. This one seems brighter acoustically, doesn't it?
It does seem a bit brighter. It's hard to know whether that. It shouldn't be strings because they're all new strings. It's who knows? I mean, I guess this is the thing with guitars made of wood. Every single one's going to be a teeny weeny bit different, isn't it?
Your currency.
So, okay, so this is the new 2012 Les Paul. It's got a bit of a mouthful of a name. This is called the Les Paul Standard Plus Top Pro.
Sounds like a drug, doesn't it? I'm going to get some Plus Top Pro because I've got a really bad fever.
So
Fever for rock.
You know, this kind of guitar it's made by Epiphone. Now Epiphone is a brand that Gibson own, and they use on. Originally, Epiphone was an American competitor of Gibson back in the 40s and 50s, and Gibson actually bought them to remove them from as a competitor, as a market.
You know, I actually didn't know that.
And then it kind of disappeared for a long time, and then back in the probably late 70s, early 80s, it reappeared as a brand that Gibson used to license copies, kind of like Far Eastern kind of copies of their American stuff. Anyway, so we love Epiphone. It's a very cool brand. It's the only kind of Les Paul copy brand that is officially licensed to copy Gibson guitars. So it's still a mahogany body and a maple cap, but instead of, you know, these guys won't be sourcing that timber to the sort of quality degree that the Americans do. You know, this will be sourced much more based on availability and price, and the maple flame top is not produced by using a piece of flame maple. It's produced by just putting a very thin veneer on, which is why you don't get that deep 3D kind of look.
But veneer's not a dirty word, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, a veneer is you go and look at a dining room table. If it's very kind of posh, it'll still be made of solid wood, but but the wood itself may not look that attractive. So they take a very, very thin, kind of like, you know, millimeter thick strip of wood and basically stick it on. It's not what some of you guys might remember that guitar manufacturers messed around with back in the 90s, of this idea of photo flames, which was a sort of a synthetic photograph of flame that they put on top. Anyway, it has what are called pro buckers on them, which are kind of like an Epiphone version of a burst bucker. They've taken the coil tap idea now so that we can coil split the two, which Rob will show you in a minute. And you know, you kind of the whole thing, it has a vibe of a Les Paul, it has a look and a tone of a Les Paul, but when you play it, you just kind of go, do you know what, it plays good, it's very, very good, you know, against other guitars of a similar price, but you just kind of feel like it's just not quite got that, you know. I always kind of describe this as, if you had a Les Paul Standard and your house was burning down, It's the kind of guitar that you would run back into the house to save. If you have one of these...
Although if your house is burning down, don't go in to save the guitar.
I kind of think if you have one of these, you just go, do you know what, I'll let it burn and buy another one on my insurance. It's fine. Because it's that, I just don't think you ever kind of develop that relationship with this kind of guitar that you would.
Well,
with,
I think that's subjective. I think someone could do.
Right.
Tell the Beatles not to develop a relationship with Epiphone either.
Well, that's because they had American.
Tell Bob
ones.
Marley not to develop a relationship with Epiphone.
Bridge pickups pops, doesn't it?
Yeah, it pops.
Kind of cool. I'm not
goes
sure
boom!
that the neck pickup's a little bit subdued, but the
But
bridge
that's
pickup
because
sounds
it's
great.
wound right the fuck down. See
Yeah,
that?
are they
It's
the
wound down.
They're pretty much the same on the two
Really?
US ones, but it's a. I mean, again, I have really
Feels
nothing.
good.
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about. In fact, most guitars that come out of the Far East now, you really
Yeah.
sit there kind of going, "It's crazy." You got it's. For guys that are shopping for like their first or second guitar and that's their kind of budget, you have never had it so good.
Oh.
In the words of Maggie Thatcher, you have never had it. Well, she didn't speak like that, did she?
No, she could, no.
She went, "You have never had it so good." But yeah, it's the production quality that comes out the Far East now is just stunning.
Yeah, I remember my first guitar. I had a white Falcon Strat copy.
Yeah.
And my God, that played like a bunch of arse.
Yeah.
But I loved that guitar so much. Yeah, it's got the squeals. It's got the
And
squeals.
you know, one of the other reasons that we, Rob and I always like the kind of Les Paul thing is if you do a lot of drop tuning, like Rob is playing in drop D a lot of the time, and in his
Wait, it's the coffee
it's the
van.
coffee van.
Yeah!
Stop the video.
We got our caffeinated beverages. We're back with the Epiphone. Now time for some clean tones from the Captain.
Can you put me on a clean? I'm on a dirty tone.
There you go, buddy.
So what I can do with this, which I'll give you a quick demo of. Let me see if I. Do you know what? I'm going to stretch myself and see if I can actually demonstrate the coil taps and the thingies and
As you're
humbuckers
playing.
as I'm playing. Confused the shit out of me trying to do that. But hopefully you got a rough idea of the kind of
It sounded good,
four
Cam.
tones. Can you just put me back on that slightly driven tone? Because again, there was some nice kind.
Is you should have it in the middle position, coil tapped, and then you should hit a bend, and when you've got the bend there, whack it and untap it.
I have to tap two at the same time.
Yay!
It's quite clever. Isn't it?
Yeah. You can do the same thing
Yeah.
when you're in the neck position. We should do this in our lesson, really. But you can do a bend and flick it as you get in there. That sounds really cool. You get that
that's
difference
cool.
in tonality.
It's because I don't own a Les Paul, you see. I don't know all these tricks.
Can you imagine owning a store the size of Andertons.co.uk where you probably have on display hundreds and hundreds of guitars?
It's thousands.
And you own how many guitars? 2?
6, something like that.
6. And you
Although, I tell you what, sneak preview, guess what I ordered yesterday?
What?
Yeah, what my favourite not me personally, but my favourite Les Paul from last year, that collector's choice number 2, Goldie.
Yeah.
Number 4 is coming out any day now.
For real?
Called Sandy, and it looks like the same thing.
Really?
Basically like the same idea, but just a different spec one. So I've ordered an extra one of those just in case.
You going to buy one?
Well, if it's amazing, I might do.
You know it's going to be amazing, mate.
Might do. Let's see if the wife lets me.
Well, the last test for the verses is we want to know which one looks coolest on Captain. So we're going to have you stand up, strap up, and could you ask your girlfriends and wives, the wags, to judge whether Lee looks sexiest with the Epiphone, the Studio, or the Standard?